What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Two Broke Gamers. I am KODX Factor, and with me again is Blue Diamond Ben. What's up, Ben?
Oh, not much. Back from our little hiatus there.
Yeah, we were on a little bit of a hiatus there, so we want to first of all thank you guys for still sticking with us and checking out the channel as we continue to grow from there. Um, and just thank you guys for everything. I know it's right now we're in a well, we've been in pandemic.
Interesting
We're in
time
an
again.
interesting time again. I mean, we've been in a pandemic for 8 months now. So we're still doing our things virtually. You're at your house. I'm at mine. So we're still doing our thing virtually here. So because we're still within a pandemic, but now we've got election season thrown into the mix now, and there's a whole lot of drama circulating around the election, which we kind of knew there was going to be. And we're not gonna sit here and talk about anything
No,
going
we're
on
not.
with the election. We know everybody has had their fill of election talk over the past 3 or 4 days. Trust me, we know. I've
Yes.
I've been trying to watch regular TV, and it seems every channel I switch to, there's something going on about the election. I'm like, I don't want to hear about it right now. I was like, yes, I know. As of today, we still don't have a president elected yet. Everybody, but let everybody take their sweet time. But I do want to say this in
I
regards
am
to
so glad there's no more ads on my YouTube video. If I had to watch one more politician ad before I
well,
could watch a gaming video or a how-to guide or something on YouTube again, and it was the same ones over and over. Like, I know you got other advertisers, Google. Can I see something else?
I just
Anything
I
else?
just want to say this also. Yeah, like you said, you hit on the point. I'm glad I'm done seeing a lot of these political ads. We're here in North Carolina. You're in Florida, so some of your like local, senators and governor ads are probably a bit different than the ones we're seeing here. But I'm
Yeah.
tired of hearing about like Cal Cunningham's affair and stuff yeah, we get that now. Everybody's voted.
Look,
That stuff
the
is
guy
done.
gets some. We get it. I don't care. I just want to know where to find the last green orbit in this game.
I just I'm looking for the skip ad button on everything that I see. Not to mention, like, I'm glad all the robocalls have stopped coming and all the
Oh
random
God.
text messages we get. Because I used to get like at least 3 or 4 text messages a day about saying, "Have you made your voting plan?" I'm like, "I voted early." "Have you made your voting plan? This is so and so. We voted early." "Oh, thank you, thank you." Like, I'm tired of responding to texts. I'm tired of hitting the stop button on these texts and the robocalls coming through. I'm glad that's over
Oh,
with. We just have a whole nother drama going on with who's going to be president yet, because we still don't know. There's still votes being counted, but I do want to say this about the votes in the election that's going on right now. And it's nothing political, so don't worry, guys. This is nothing to be like, oh, here he goes political. No, it has nothing to do with that at all. I just want to say to the people that are still out there counting votes in these states that have not yet been called, if you happen to be listening to us right now as you're skimming through ballots, bless you.
stop! Stop! Don't count.
Like, if you happen to be just watching us on your phone as you're going through and counting ballots, I personally just want to say, at least thank you for taking the time out of your day to count ballots. I know it's got to be tedious, mind-numbing work. You just
Ugh,
going through
yes.
turning pages and turning pages and turning pages, and you're like, oh, I'm tired of seeing. You probably go to sleep seeing these little dots all through your dreams. I swear you got to. But I do just thank you for what you're doing, and keep it up, and
Oh,
hopefully by this weekend you guys can go on a long nap and nobody at your house will give you crap about it. I just put it to you
oh
that way.
God,
But
yes.
but that's all I wanted to say about the elections. Is if you happen to be one of the ones listening to us in your earbuds right now, thank you for what you do. It's greatly appreciated. Continue doing what you're doing. Take your time. Let's
Yes.
get it right, so that way we don't have to revisit this whole debacle in another 30 days or so. So
Yes. So please, thank you for what you do. It is one of those thankless jobs. So not to sound thankless, But please quit watching us and go start counting more.
You don't have to watch us, but you can listen to us though. Maybe one of us can put a smile on your face as you're having to look at all these little freaking dots, on these ballots that are coming in. So just just think of it that way. But and another thing I wanted to announce as well, I put it up on our Twitter and Facebook pages as well. The game that I was a part of with Treefall Studios, the Perplexing Orb
Yes.
2, has finally been accepted and approved by Sony, and we should have Steam by the end of today or tomorrow. And it will be launching globally on November 17th. That is next week, I believe. So November 17th on the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 5, as well as Steam. So it will be on the Steam consoles or PC as well. Um, and I was a part of the music production of it. Eli did a majority of everything else. So my hats off to Eli and what he's accomplished there. I got a ton of review codes for the game. So if you happen to be watching us or listening to us and you're in the streaming world, or you're on like a YouTube creator or anything like that, send us a DM and I'd be happy to get you guys a press kit along with a review code for the game. That is on the review codes I have are for the PlayStation. I'm still waiting on the ones for Steam. So if you're one of the ones that wants it for Steam, I don't have those quite yet. Check with me again at the beginning of next week. But as far as the PlayStation ones, I have them right now. If you're interested, just DM me your channel, and I'll be happy to check it out and get you guys set up with a press kit. Because we want as many streamers and YouTube creators playing this as we could possibly get, and that's kind of like where we're at with it right now.
Yeah.
And I just want to congratulate Treefall Studios and Eli on the upcoming launch of this game. It was a lot of fun to work with. I had a blast creating the music for it, and I got to say, I played through two or three of the worlds already since I got the codes in, and it's actually pretty fun. And I'm looking forward to touching the multiplayer of it because it does have a multiplayer component to it, 4 players, split screen or online. So I'm looking forward to playing with some of you content creators out there.
Yeah, and I will say, like, I don't buy a lot of puzzle games, but I have been bought the first Perplexing Orb, and I'm looking forward to buying this one. No, I will not be doing a press kit. Okay, I'm not cheating. I'm buying my own code. Okay, but I generally have fun with the game because they are very fun. The first one was great, and I'm looking forward to playing the second one.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. The when I got the sheets and the sample levels for each of the stages and worlds, and they said, okay, create 2 different songs for each of these worlds, and I just had a blast, trying to play it on my computer as I'm trying to create songs for it because I wanted to try to match as perfectly as I can to the theme of the world. That was a lot of fun. We have been in talks on working on a new game that is growing in the mind right now. I can't really talk too much about it at this point, but
Yes, the secretive world of game development.
it looks like I will be coming in attached to that one as well, as far as the musical score of that one. And the score is going to be much different than what you heard in the Perplexing Orb. So if you're expecting more of the same from that game as far as music quality, the quality's still going to be there, but the tonality and the music genre is going to be much vastly different. So just a little tease right there.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
like I said, again, congratulations to Treefall Studios and the upcoming
Yes.
launch of the Perplexing Orb 2.
Yes. Congratulations to Eli and to yourself.
Thank
I
you,
look
thank you.
forward to playing the fruit of your labor.
Yeah, we look forward to it. We hope you guys will enjoy it. And like I said, if you are a content creator, just DM us, and I'll be happy to try to get you set up with a press kit.
Eh,
So moving along from the small shameless plugs right there.
Yes, shameless plugs.
Let's talk about some upcoming consoles that are launching next week.
Yes,
Um,
this will be our last episode, basically covering the upcoming consoles
yep.
and games. We've been involved in game console launches in the past on the retail side and stuff. And this season's definitely going to be different. Not going to be a lot of people standing in lines. Matter of fact, I think the grand total number of people standing in lines is going to be about zero.
Yeah, from what we're gathering and reports that we're hearing from at least the local retailers around here, and some of the announcements that retailers have made publicly online, is that if you were one of the ones hoping to kind of camp out the night before, like previous console launches have been like,
Yeah,
or you wanting to get in line for like a midnight release or something like that, and get your
they're
and get your hands on a console, that's not going to be happening. Unfortunately, they're
yeah
getting.
they're basically saying don't bother. They're the plan from big retailers like Best Buy and Walmart is just to keep them at their warehouses and sell them online.
Right.
GameStop also.
Yeah.
Unless you
So.
get lucky and your local GameStop has someone who has decided not to pick up, has canceled their order or whatever, and you're able to pick it up that day, which I will say you would be very lucky
Hmm.
if that was to happen. Um, you're essentially going to be SOL.
Yeah. I mean.
Most of them will be holding extra consoles until Black Friday
Yeah, but even from what I'm hearing is even on Black Friday they're not going to be really available for in-store pickup. You have to order them online,
or online. Yeah,
and they'll either ship them to you, or you have to order them online for like maybe a curbside pickup, and then they bring them to your car.
yeah,
Something of that nature. I think they may do. But as far as the launch goes next week, not a single retailer, unless somebody just happens to cancel one and they have an extra one right there. But you might want to call them first ahead of time just to kind of double check and make sure, or you just might have to be just get lucky and be in the store as it happens. Um, you're gonna have to order them online, and then they'll ship them to you. Now, what Walmart has done, because Walmart made the announcement yesterday, as well as Best Buy. Best Buy did say that I think at 12 o'clock p.m. on the launch day, you can start ordering the systems, both Xbox
yes,
and the PlayStation, online. Walmart is kind of taking it a little step further. They're giving you 4 opportunities to get your hands on the consoles. Um, and this is starting the day before, because the PlayStation launches on what, the 13th?
the 12th.
The 12th. Okay.
PlayStation's on 12th, Xbox is on the 10th.
Okay. So forget I said that then. So on the
Yeah.
12th, which is the launch day of the PlayStation, you can go to their website, which is at walmart.com, obviously. Go to their website and you can start ordering. You can try to order a system at 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and I think 6 o'clock. That's
Yeah, and
four
that's all
opportunities.
Eastern time.
That's all
So,
Eastern time, right?
yeah.
Um, 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock. So basically every 2 hours, you have an opportunity to get your hands on one of the consoles. So what I would recommend, because I'm going to end up doing it myself because I have yet to secure a PlayStation anywhere.
But I say you secured an Xbox, but not a
I
PlayStation.
secured an Xbox, I just didn't get a PlayStation.
Yeah.
I will be on Walmart's website that day at like probably like around 11:30, refreshing the crap out of their website. Hopefully they've worked out kinks to where it's not going to crash every time you go to try to check out. But that does remain to be seen. But the fact that they're giving us kind of time frames to look for, and if you don't hit the 12 o'clock one, say I can't make the 12 o'clock one, but I can probably make the 4 o'clock one. Well, you got 4 opportunities right there to try to get your hands on one, and they're giving everybody an opportunity to, which I think is pretty cool.
Pretty cool, yeah. And I know that those companies are watching out for like the pre-order bots that scalpers use to try to snag a hold of them. I think that's why they specifically broke up the times in order to try to filter out like orders like that. But
And they're waiting
at the
until
same
launch, and they're
degree,
waiting until launch day as
it's just
well.
going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. And and
Yeah. So
and they're waiting until launch day. They're not doing it the day before, to where it's almost like a pre-order, just to kind of because most scalpers want to try to have this thing, you know, by the pre-order date, so they want to get it
Yeah,
at by the launch date.
because they want to flip it fast. They know their best chance as a scalper to make money is to flip it as fast as possible.
Right, absolutely. So no,
To
that's the
that
one with
degree,
those.
I will say don't get into a scalper. If you see a PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X for $1,000 on eBay or your Facebook, don't do it.
Nope,
Don't feed the fire.
nope. I wouldn't.
Okay,
I wouldn't do it at
just
all.
don't. Because for that money, you can get a gaming computer that would blow away a new console. So just don't do it.
Now I have gone to eBay and I've seen a couple users or a couple sellers that were selling the console um, at starting bid at $500 because one they know it's going to go up more than
Go
five
up,
hundred
yeah.
more than $500. If you come across one, because I came across I think one or two of them on eBay
Yeah.
where the seller wasn't marking up the price to like $1,000 plus, and the closing bid ended up being like around like $550, $551, on a disc version of the PlayStation 5. And I was like, well, that's not bad. And then like 30, I think like $30 shipping. So you're essentially paying almost 80, $90 more than the original console price. Something like that, I can kind of see. I mean, because the only thing
Well,
he made
I,
off the system was like $50. So something like
yeah.
that, I can kind of,
I can
I'll be
kind of
okay with.
understand the scalper mentality, and I'm not talking about getting it and selling it for a lot. I'm talking about as the consumer wanting to go to the scalper because you want that launch title. But as someone who's been a part of lots of console launches in the past, both as a gamer and as a retail side, it's just not worth it. And this console generation, something I've said before, there's not a lot of specifically launched titles that are going to be stellar. To my opinion, the only one for PlayStation is Dark Souls. Okay. And Xbox doesn't have that killer launch app, to be honest. Like, I know Gears of War Tactics and Factor, you're a big Gears fan, but it's a
Yeah.
tactical game and it's just a rather small appeal for audience, even smaller than a Souls game. So, like, I just don't see any console that if you want to pay that extra, say an extra 100, even 150, I could justify it. If you're that hardcore of a gamer and you want it, then that's fine. I just can't see paying anything more than that to a scalper.
No, I wouldn't either.
Even
There's no
then,
way.
make sure you do it from someone who has a lot of reviews on them, you know, high rating, preferred buyer on eBay or whatever. If you do Facebook, make sure it's a public place. Make sure you check it out before you leave. Use your heads, people. Use your heads. Stay safe. But at the same time, don't go crazy for it. I just don't feel this console generation is worth it. And that's not a dig at
Right.
the consoles itself. I just feel there's not enough launch content for either console to make it worthwhile.
Right. So don't feel like you have to go out there and break your necks and break your backs trying to get one of these consoles for Christmas for somebody. Yeah, of course they're probably going to want it for Christmas, especially if it's like your kid and they said they want a PlayStation or a new Xbox for Christmas. And you want to try to do everything you possibly can to get one. But
Yeah.
if you're unable to get one, just we want you to be
Just
able to rest easy knowing that your son, your daughter is not missing out on
yeah.
a whole lot with if they don't get one this year.
If he's got a little kid, like outside of Spider-Man, there's really not another game for them. And even Spider-Man is more fit to, I would say, the 10 to 12-year-old, not the little kids. Okay.
And Spider Man's on
And
the previous is on the
it
generation
on
that's
the
out
on the
now. So
PS4. Yeah. So just get the PS4 version.
yeah, and then just wait for the upgraded version next year when they're probably a little bit more easily accessible and stuff like that. So that's what our opinion would be on it.
Yeah. If you're on the collector side, there's always a good thing to new consoles coming out. And that means that if you've had only one console, or if you just haven't moved up for budget or whatever reasons to PlayStation 4 or an Xbox One, a lot of people are going to be trading in these consoles. It's becoming a good time to get a hold of a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox One if you don't have one. If you've had one but not the other and you've thought about making the dive, now it will be a great time to go ahead and make the dive. Pick up an S, pick up an X of the one version. And, if you've wanted to play PlayStation games and you've been an Xbox fanboy for whatever reason, go ahead. Trust me, PlayStation's got a lot of great IPs. There's a reason why those games sell. They are that good, most of them, and they are worth it. So go pick up a Slim model. Like, trust me, you will enjoy it. It is worth it.
Yep, I agree. So just not a huge reason to want to rush out and pick one up. Now, reviews for the Xbox have started to come out because the embargo for the reviews on the console itself
Yes.
started
We've
to lift
started to
yesterday.
see some game reviews and stuff, and even hardware and accessories, and that's what I want to talk about now. So let's talk about the good stuff before we get into the controversies.
Yeah, let's look at the, because we don't have an Xbox here in the lounge as of right now. We'll have one next week, but we don't have one right now.
You know what? I sent a request to Microsoft for a system, and I was surprised. I got a response back, and there was a nice big box in the mail, and I opened up, and it was just full of nothing.
So we were not one of the fortunate ones to get one of the early Xboxes to, to do an unboxing or review video for or anything like that. But the ones that have started to put out videos and reviews for the console since the embargo on it lifted yesterday. Yes. Now let's look at both systems right now. So the two that are launching are the Xbox Series X and then the Xbox Series S. The S being obviously the slimmer and
those
digital
names.
version only. Oh no, I hate the names too, but
I hate the names, Microsoft.
I wish they would get better with the names as well, but what are we gonna do?
Hey, interesting thing though. One of the people who got an early version that I follow, if you look at the back of the Series S, it's actually listed as a Scarlet, which was its code name in development.
Is it listed as a Scarlet?
It is listed as an Xbox Series S Scarlet on it.
Huh. That's interesting.
I'll send you the link to that later.
Yeah. But let's look at both consoles real quick, and let's take a dive into what people are saying about the Xbox Series X right now.
Yes.
From the early impressions I'm getting of it right now is it's living up to the hype. It is worth the price point they put on it. It is an extremely powerful machine. Right now, arguably, aside from like the ray tracing and the fact that the load screens are super fast, one of the favorite features of it is the what they call it, like the transitions going from game to game or app to app.
The quick swapping and stuff.
Right. They said that right now is one of their ultimate favorite features. A lot of people are saying that. But there's arguments to go around from people in regards to what their favorite option is. But a lot of people are saying that is one of their favorite features.
Yeah, and one of the people I followed, like one of his favorite features is the backwards compatibility and how much it has increased the performance and stuff of everything from original OG Xbox to 360 games. And even he noticed performance increases with Sekiro.
Which is kind of what I'm interested to find out, because we started a new series on our YouTube channel called Then and Now. And in case you don't know what that is, the Then and Now is a new series that we started on our YouTube channel where we kind of go back and play not necessarily old retro games, because retro games I feel have like their own category.
Yeah, retro is retro.
Right. I mean, these are like older original Xbox 360 games that we're revisiting. So we did Gears of War 1. We're just about done with Gears of War 2. We're going to then move into Gears of War 3. We're probably going to skip Judgment, just to be honest with you. And then we'll probably go into 4.
I don't blame you.
and then we'll probably go into 4, but we're not decided on that yet. But then once we're done with Gears, we're gonna transition to Mass Effect, do 1, 2, and 3 of Mass Effect,
Yeah.
and so forth. So I'm kind of interested to see because we're probably gonna end up starting our Gears 3 playthrough with the Series X once we have it in, because we're on the last leg now of Gears 2, which we'll probably finish up maybe tonight.
Well, see, Gears 2 was one of those games that got a performance boost being on the Xbox One X as
Right.
backwards compatible.
Right.
So,
And I'm playing it on the Xbox One X right now.
yeah.
So the gameplay you're seeing is being captured on the Xbox One X. So I'm kind of interested to see what it will look like when we go into Gears 3 on the Series X, how much of a difference it's going to make.
Um, was it? But everything hasn't been touching good and bad with the Series X. Okay,
What's
reveal as well as the
the
Series S.
what's the
The
hardware
real
space of the Series X first of
well,
all?
before we go there, I want to say real fast a lot because I've noticed everywhere from PlayStation fanboys to just people who aren't hardcore gamers asking what's the deal with the quick swap.
Hmm.
And there's something of a big deal to that if you play games a lot. If you're playing a single player game and your boys or your clan or whatever suddenly say, "Hey, we got a spot open in Call of Duty. We got a tournament coming. We need you on." The fact that you don't have to start, menu down, save, wait, all right, game is saved, start, quit, home screen, start, quit, my games and apps, over, down. No, oh, it's not there. Oh, okay, Call of Duty, load up. Wait 60 seconds for it to load up. Meanwhile, they're in another match. They're already playing, you know? So the advantage to literally go from one game to the other with just a few seconds is literally one of those things that means something to the player of the game.
I
Okay,
agree.
so it
I
may not
absolutely do.
sound like a big deal, but it's one of those super convenient factors of life, like sliced bread.
It brings you
Like
closer to that PC realm because PC players can boot up multiple games and just minimize the screen as
creams, yes,
they're going into the background. And this is virtually the Xbox's version of doing that. It's essentially
that.
loading up multiple programs to run simultaneously, and then you can minimize and exit out at basically at will. And I'm sure they're probably, I haven't seen it yet. I haven't looked at any UI videos or anything like that yet. I'm kind of trying to keep my eyes away from that because I kind of want to be more surprised by it when I actually open up the system and plug it in myself for the first time. Um, so I'm assuming they're probably going to be doing kind of like a Blade type UI interface when it comes to the.
You're wrong. I've seen the UI,
Okay.
and you have too without realizing it.
Oh, have I?
Yes,
Probably on the Xboxes that we have now because they
that's
updated the
right.
system.
The current, if you have an Xbox One or if you have someone who has one and is online with it, they got a UI update about a month ago. And the UI, the store, and everything for the Xbox One the way it now, they made it mirror the Series X. So they're not using the Xbox's One UI with the Series X. They're doing it the other way around. And as someone who's been on the Xbox for the One for the last several years, it is a lot faster. It is a lot better. It is a lot simpler. It is very intuitive, and I love this new UI.
I do too. I think it actually looks really really good. It's clean.
It's very clean. I do still miss having, like, remember backgrounds? You used to be able to buy like the fancy backgrounds for the 360 and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I kind of miss those, Liz. I know they're more or less a waste of money. I didn't care. I liked them.
The
Okay.
PlayStation 4 has that, like the
And
dynamic themes and stuff like that.
dynamic themes, yes, which I love. I will put money into some cool themes, you know? Um, and yes, I know with Xbox you can put one on a flash drive and essentially put your own wallpaper background, but it's not the same as like with PlayStation, the dynamic background. And I would love to purchase those again. You know, like
Right.
that would just look awesome to me. I would love to see something from Ace Combat in the air, the jets constantly twisting and turning and dogfighting behind each other. That
Well, I
would
mean,
just be awesome.
I do like the fact that the last game that you played does have its own unique background to it. Um, when the game is
Yes, it does
when the
make
off.
a background on the top head.
I do like that
Yes.
feature. So the last game that you played does give you a unique background to that when you're actually when your cursor's on the game itself, like you're getting ready to load it up.
Yes.
So I do like that.
Um, but anyway, that's all I want to talk about there. Now let's get into the cons, if you will, for the Xbox.
Okay.
Um, Con wise, there hasn't been a whole lot of cons. And I love that everyone's made the joke of the when the Series X was revealed, it looked like a small refrigerator. And if you guys haven't seen it now, Microsoft is living the meme. They've made a few thousand. They
They
partnered, I think it was Samsung.
they made
Three.
three refrigerators. They gave one to Snoop Dogg. They gave two, or the second one to um, it might be the girl that actually made the theme or the
Yeah.
meme.
I mean, yeah.
And then the third one they're giving away is like one of the sweepstakes.
Yeah, and it literally looks like a giant, like it has the disc tray, the Xbox button. When you open it up, it has that unique Xbox green light all on the inside. There's no freezer space. There's only three
No,
shelves, and it's good for nothing but soda or whatever
it's
canned beverage
literally
you want.
a fridge. There's no freezer to it. It's literally a fridge. When you open up the door, it makes like a unique Xbox sound when you open it up. It's
Yes,
got the green
it makes
light
that
through the
disc tray
inside of it.
noise.
It's actually pretty cool.
It's pretty sick. I would gladly pay like $4,000 for one of those. I know I'm a broke gamer, but if I had $4,000, like I totally.
Man, if I spent $4,000 on that, my wife would kill me.
Oh, that has not stopped you from buying multiple of the same consoles.
well, I
How
mean,
many 360s did you buy? Come on.
man, I've got
Between your Halo editions, your Gears of War editions, like how many 360s did you
four,
buy just for collector purposes?
five maybe.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And I found my original 360, one with the removable faceplate with the customizable faceplate. Um, it was actually the original Xbox 360 that I gave to a guy who did like customizing paint jobs on the consoles
Yeah.
because he used to shop in our store a long time ago, and I was like, man, that Xbox looks awesome. Where'd you find that? And he was like, I made it. I was like, are you kidding me? And I ended up giving him one of my old Xbox 360s. I was like, customize this. And he did a gold plated, Halo 3 console for me with the 3 logo in black, and the console's all in gold. It looks super slick. I found that in our storage closet about a week ago. When I sent you that picture of the
Yeah.
original Xbox controller that I found,
Well, it's funny you say that. I go thrift store hunting and stuff for retro stuff. I found still in this original packaging one of the Halo 4 faceplates, one of the blue ones.
I remember those too. Those things are actually pretty sick. I actually,
Yeah, I have it up on the wall right
because I
now.
found that and the Todd McFarlane uh, Halo 3 controllers that they came out with. They had like two variations. They had the Covenant and the yeah. See, there you go. Um, and I had the Todd McFarlane Halo controllers. Um, one for the
Yeah.
Covenant, one for the Master Chief one. So
Yeah,
I have one
with
of
the
each.
paint, the art jobs on them. They were pretty cool.
Yeah, so I found those and then the face plates. I found all those. I found the customizable face plates that you can make your own. I didn't do a really good job on it, but I tried to make a Gears of War faceplate. My printer was not the best at the time, so it didn't come
Yeah.
out the best. But I
You know
have
what?
one.
Quick note: retro collectors, you find these in like your thrift stores or good yard sales or whatever. These make great wall decorations, and I paid like $1 for this.
Yeah,
Like I
I
know I'm
remember
getting a
those.
lot of glare off my second monitor, but like these are always pretty sick face plates. I always leave them in the packaging personally, but that's just me. Like I'm one of those people I don't take stuff out of my packaging. But anyway, we keep diverging.
Yep.
All right, flaws with the Series X. The X hasn't had a lot of flaws, other than the size being somewhat bulky and it can stand up or lay down. Um, Other than that, there hasn't been a lot of issues. The
No.
heat vents out when you see it stand up. The heat is basically bending out of the top. Okay, so that's the area that you want to make sure it's breathing no matter where you have it at. But otherwise, there really hasn't been a lot of issues or complaints with the Series X. The most of the complaints have been made by the Series S.
Yes.
And we were all surprised. A lot of the world was surprised by the price of this console at $299.
Hmm.
And we even said that it would probably be a great buy for someone who doesn't care about the 4K and ray tracing and stuff. But there is one flaw that has been revealed by this price. Now, Microsoft has said that the hard drive space is smaller on that one compared to the Series X. Series X is a terabyte, and the Series S is what, 500?
500 gigs, yeah.
Yeah, a little over 500 gigs. It's like 512 or something like that. Well, of course, that's just total space for the hard drive. By the time you add up the operating system and stuff on the machine for it to work, you only have a little over 300 gigs of actual available space.
I
And
think 356, I think, is what they clocked it
yeah,
at.
somewhere around there, yeah. And that's an issue because Call of Duty Cold War coming out, the campaign and the multiplayer together is over 250 gigs. Now, I have to disclaimer real fast. That was the file size of the PlayStation 5, not the Xbox. But we do know the Xbox is going to be fairly close in size.
So you're looking, if it's 250 gigs, that's essentially leaving you almost 100 gigs of leftover space, which will get you maybe one, at most two more games on your hard drive, and then that's it. You can't put
Yeah.
anything else on there.
Now, also, another disclaimer that is, again, the campaign and the multiplayer. And Call of Duty's way of handling these big file sizes is you have the ability to either download only the multiplayer or after you finish the campaign to delete it. So, and if you say are an offline person, you don't care about the multiplayer because you can't play it, you can do just the campaign.
Yep.
Um, but they
Well,
haven't said how much of the memory is to what version.
if you're
Like we don't know how
offline,
much of that memory is.
if you're offline though, why would you have the S version to begin with? I mean, it's all
You know
digital.
what? Yeah, that's the other thing because Microsoft has come out as a reveal that it still has a lot of the online only DRM from
Oh,
the yes from the Xbox One essentially, and I remember that really kind of sunk the Xbox One's launch. But also, it was a different day and age, and I kind of didn't
yeah.
understand that then, and I don't understand that now
I was about to
because
say, because that was a different that was a different era. I mean, many people didn't like the idea, but now Microsoft is seeing how well like Game Pass is doing and the millions of subscribers that they have to it. They're like, okay, well, this is not that big of a deal now. I mean, look at how many users or how many Xbox users we have that are on Game Pass. You know,
yeah,
if they're on Game Pass already, they're already connected online anyway, so it shouldn't
yeah,
be that big of a
that's
deal.
the thing. I know people talk like, "Oh, well, I want to take my Xbox when I travel," and we have a couple friends who do that. They travel a lot and they take their Xbox with them, but they play online games. So even when they take their Xboxes with them at the hotel, they connect to Wi-Fi or the internet, and they're still playing matches. I mean, I play with them when they do that.
Yeah.
So I don't understand the whole I don't want to be online. Now, if you are a person like you were just saying, to where you just don't have internet at the house, you live way out in the woods, okay? Like the internet speed you get is such a joke to where it just doesn't even register to a console, then the Xbox isn't going to be a good fit for you, but chances are you don't have an Xbox now,
Right.
and so many people like they don't move their Xboxes. I'd say that when it comes to just not even Xbox, just console owners as a whole who travel and take their consoles with them, I'd say most of those people just do it with the Switch because they have a Switch to begin with, or they're doing it at a hotel. So I just don't see the big point.
Right.
Like, I don't care if my Xbox has to connect to the internet once a week because 99 times out of 100, it sits on the shelf by the TV right there, and that's just where it stays.
I mean, and now they made internet so accessible. So I mean, if you need to do it for like a couple of minutes to get like an update or something like that, you can connect it now to, because most cell phones that you see nowadays have a hotspot on it that you can
Have
just
a bit
connect to.
hotspot ability.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can just connect to your hotspot on your phone, do the update, and then you boom, you can go right back offline again. It's not that big of a
Yep.
deal.
Quick note: our mutual friend, like he lives in a place where he has bad internet to begin with. He gets better internet at the hotel than he does at home. So when he plays his games online, he literally has a hotspot just to play his consoles online.
Yep. I mean, hotspots work. I mean, especially if you're not doing a whole lot on it, like you don't have like 8 different things going on the internet all at the same time, or streaming
Time, yeah,
movies and games at all at the same time. A hotspot will work just fine, especially if all you're going to be doing is downloading something or downloading an update or something like that. Unless you're downloading an update for Call of Duty, which is like 50 gigs, but you
yeah,
know, I mean that's essentially all it is.
yeah. Because to be honest, like if you are one of those rural people that, or for whatever reasons, you live out in the boons, out in the woods, where you're not able to get a good broadband internet, and you're stuck with essentially a satellite connection, which we all know is just terrible for gaming.
Hmm.
Um, to be honest, you would be better off spending your money on just say a hotspot card, because chances are you will get better connection through the cell phone at 4G than you would through the satellite provider.
Yep.
I mean, it's sad, but it's true. But that's a whole nother story when it comes to the infrastructure development in the United States.
Right. So basically, if you're getting a Series S, don't get it for Call of Duty because you will
No,
be sadly disappointed
sadly
when you
disappointed.
go to try to play something else other than now, if that's all you're going to do is play Call of Duty, nothing else, you're probably
Yeah.
okay. But I wouldn't go for it anything else after that. Um,
Um, that's the only other thing though is that don't think that like we knew something was gonna have to give probably with the Series S. So I'm not surprised to see that the hard drive space is so small. I'm kind of just not that surprised. It's actually a little bit bigger than I thought it would be, to be honest. I was expecting to be closer to 250 gigs. Um, but outside of that, like this, the other thing to remember is you don't need to put your backwards compatible games on the internal SSD. Like they're not going to get any type of speed advantage or use a lot of the features specifically that the new consoles are for. You would do much better off just leaving those on a external hard drive and letting it run that way.
yep.
And that's what Microsoft themselves is telling people to do. The only games that need to be on the SSDs are going to be the newer games.
Yep. And that makes sense. So I mean, if you're going to do it that way, you could buy yourself one of those external hard drives and just attach it to it, and that'll give you
Yeah.
extra hard drive space, and you can play multiple stuff, which is okay unless you're going for an SSD expansion, and that's going to cost you as much as you paid for the console right now.
Console, yeah. It's the 1 terabyte ones are like $215.
Yep.
But don't think you're going to save money and go to Walmart and Best Buy and buy one of those USB SSDs. They're not the same type of SSD.
Nope.
Okay, this is a new type of SSD technology, and eventually it will be the standard for the SSDs that are on the shelves. But that's going to be several more years.
Let's just be honest. If you're running into a space problem within the first month of console launch, I'll be very surprised because there's not a whole lot out there except for Call of Duty that is going to utilize your entire hard drive space in the
Hard drive, yeah,
first month. I would, if you're one of the early adopters of the console, wait until the prices for some of these upgrades starts to come down, as the console gets a little bit older, as more stuff starts to come out. And once some of these
yeah,
upgraded games come out, or some of these newer games come out, then you can start looking at it.
yeah. Because to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if a year and a half, 2 years from now, Microsoft starts having 2 and 3 terabyte SSD expansion
Yeah, and
cards.
they're going to, and the price is going to come down on them as it gets older as well. If you need something right away and you have an Xbox One already with a hard drive already on it with the USB external hard drive, you can just slap it onto the Xbox One, Series S or X, and that'll
And
give you the
boom,
additional
literally
that'll give you the
after you
additional
set up the
space.
console,
So I mean, yeah, that'll give you the extra space that you need to run what you need to run and play what you need to play or want to play.
Yeah, because that's honestly one of the big advantages to owning a new Xbox if you have a current one, is that you can just, if you are like me, you keep all your games on a external hard drive. After you set up your new console, you can just unplug the hard drive from one console, plug it into the other, and everything's good to go. No re-downloading, no small patches. Literally just plug it in, it's good to go.
Yep. Now you probably will
Um,
need to reformat it for the Xbox Series X or X. You may have to do that for that, but
no,
I'm not 100% sure.
no. Microsoft literally has showed it in a video already. You unplug from the to one to the other. As long as
Okay.
it's one 3.0 USB ports with the blue plastic tips on the inside, you're good.
Okay.
And
So
yeah, I think that was smart design on their part. But from here, we got the PlayStation 5.
yeah, and then the PlayStation 5 launches 2 days after the Series X and S launch. We've already told you how you can go about getting one if you don't have one pre-ordered already. Um, to be honest, there's not a whole lot of opportunity to get one, so
Yeah,
it's going to be kind of one of those situations where next year is probably going to be your best bet. But we haven't seen like any reviews or anything on the console for this one yet. Now we know that the same reviewers and stuff
no,
like that have them in hand. There's just not a whole lot of information on it.
well, there has been reviews on the controller.
On the controllers, yeah, but the console itself there haven't been.
Yes, on the console themselves there hasn't been, but there is one thing because Sony has been talking a lot about how this controller is going to be game changing. With the buttons at the top being pressure sensitive and the way they can change the programmer can change the feel of it to the game so that in the racing game you got that gentle pull like you would of a throttle, and then when you're going Call of Duty it's a crisp snap like for a gun trigger pull. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
which is a really cool thing that they talked about. Um, but it's clearly also up to the developers to incorporate those features.
Yep.
And the reviews for the PS5 controller itself has been good. Very good feels. They even showed one person even showed it plugged in operating both a Nintendo Switch and a PlayStation 3. Now the PlayStation button on the controller didn't bring up the menu on the PlayStation 3, but it did work to play the game and operate the UI.
I don't understand how it'll work on a PlayStation 3, but if you try to use it on a PlayStation 4, it doesn't work. That's like the most asinine thing I
Well,
think I've ever heard.
the other thing to note is that it wasn't hooked up wirelessly. He had it plugged in through the USB. So I was wondering if the console was just recognizing it as a USB controller and not, say, a PlayStation controller, which is what would explain why the PlayStation button wasn't working.
I don't know. I've seen a couple of different videos where they were trying to use the controller like on a PlayStation 4, and it wouldn't recognize it as a controller at all, no matter what they did. And I was like, well, how does it work on a PlayStation 3? Because they did it on the PS3, but it doesn't work on a PS4. That's like so backwards to
That's
me.
weird, but you have to remember the PlayStation 3 was a very unique system with its cell architecture and the way it runs. Like, it is not conventional by any sense of degree compared to just even normal computer or electronic parts, let alone the consoles. Like, there was a lot of unique proprietary stuff down literally to the microchip level when it came to the PlayStation 3, which is why it was so hard to program games for.
Yeah, that's true because it was.
And that also what made it expensive, and that's essentially why the PlayStation 3 lost that console war to the 360.
Yeah, it was too much to try to deal with, and I think yeah, like you said, I think that's what ended up costing it in the long run.
Yeah. So there might be honestly something in there because the PlayStation 3, in terms of pure power, that hardware was well ahead of its time. So it wasn't a fault per se of the hardware or the performance. It was just very hard to make stuff for. So there might be just a hardware advantage allowing the PlayStation 3 to operate that controller, you know?
Yeah.
Um, but that aside, the only other unique thing that I want to bring up with the PlayStation 5 is you remember the video Sony did where they tore it down and they even put up measurements. Like they took the whole system apart, and they showed the measurements and everything in careful video
Yeah.
of the PlayStation 5. Well, some company thought, hey, remember those Xbox 360 faceplates? What if we did something like that for the PlayStation 5?
Yeah,
We can
I
do
started.
measurements right now.
I heard about that. They started making like customizable plates
Faceplates. Yeah, for the PlayStation
for
5.
the PS5, and then Sony came in quickly and put the kibosh on that, like really
Yes.
quick. I don't understand
Well,
why they did that though. That doesn't make any sense to me either. I'm like, this is just because somebody's going to do it, and
someone's
so
going to do it. Yeah.
I think Sony wants to be the company that does it themselves though, and I'm like, come on. I
Well,
mean,
Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo, they all have that thing where, like, if you look at it on the, say, a third party controller box, some of them will have it, some of them won't. But it says official product of or licensed by Microsoft, Nintendo, or whoever. And I think Sony was like, why didn't we think about that? Well, they don't have our official approval, so let's kibosh it and then just buy the idea from them.
yeah, I don't get that. To me, that's like the most backwards thing I think you could possibly. I mean, give them. I mean, if they came, especially if they came up with the idea already, and this is not a company that is going to fight a lawsuit from Sony anyway. They're too
No, this was
small.
literally a garage startup,
Yeah,
essentially.
the company's too small. They can't afford the lawyers or the legal fees to go into something like this. So they really have no choice but to cancel pre-orders on them and let Sony kind of you know swing their Johnson around a little bit.
That big dick energy, right?
Mhm. Yeah, I think. I mean, I'm sorry. I think Sony's just you know
I would not be surprised if we saw it later from Sony.
it's
Now,
coming
here's the
later
thing.
from Sony. I can tell you that right now. It's coming.
Now, and like I said, I think these things are cool. I personally never bought them and put them on my consoles. If I owned them, it was because I just thought it would look cool. So I would use it as a wall decoration or something.
I wouldn't.
You know,
I don't buy like faceplates like that either, and I don't think I'd ever buy one for the PlayStation either. But they had that they had that customized option though.
it's just really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
You
understand why. I
remember
don't understand why they would just say no. You can't do that.
You remember the 360 PS3? They had those. The company came out with Game Vault, like
Yeah,
it would hold the console and would hold your controllers, and it was like the super cool. It was like way too expensive, but it was just a really cool concept
yeah.
to make the console essentially a showpiece. Like I kind of like that type of stuff, even though I don't buy it. I like it,
I
but
mean
I think
that
that's
I
the
don't
thing.
mind.
I think that's the thing, though. I think people always like that stuff. They like having the option, but there's never enough people to buy it to make it stick around.
They want something to make their console that they have unique, and that somebody comes into their house and say, "What is that?" Oh, that's the PlayStation 5. Well, that doesn't look like my PlayStation 5. It's like, yeah, mine's a little bit custom. Mine's customized a little bit differently. And
Yeah,
it's all it is. It's just kind of like bragging. Well, look at my PS5 as opposed to your PS5.
yeah. But that's the other thing because I'm going out from the collectible side. I always want that original factory look. I want it clean. I want it nice. Um, then again, I love it when the manufacturer does stuff themselves. So I love the special edition consoles.
Yep.
Like
I get them. If there's
like
a Gears one, I'm getting it. So
yeah. I
hey,
mean, so it is a cool thing, and I would like to see some of that in the future.
oh, that's gonna be happening. Sony's gonna do them. Microsoft's gonna do them. When the next Gears one comes out, there's gonna be a Xbox Series X Gears Award
Gears
Edition.
of War 6. Yep, you're going to have it.
So guess where I'm getting my next Xbox Series X console from? But
As long as you clear it with the misses.
and Sony's gonna have one, and probably when God of War comes out, there'll be a God of War PS5 edition and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So
Because I was really upset when there wasn't a Final Fantasy VII version of the PS4.
was kind of surprised they weren't going to have like they might have one like Spider-Man 2 or something like that, like a Miles Morales kind of looking PS5 edition. That would have been pretty cool, but the fact that they can't keep up with manufacturing for the regular PS5, doing a
Yeah,
special edition one just wasn't going to happen.
they have to secure the manufacturing and the supply before they start doing special editions. So,
Yep.
um,
I think we're about a year away from that.
yeah. But anyway, that's what we know about the launch. That's what you can expect. when it comes to the games, the game previews and reviews that we've gotten out there have already been for some of the major titles. There's nothing on Call of Duty yet, but I
No.
do know the beta's coming, and it's public, I believe, for PlayStation, if I remember right.
Yeah. So
Um, the Watch Dogs looks kind of cool and different.
Watch Dogs is fun. I mean, I've so far I've had fun with it. I'm running it on a Xbox One X right now. I'm waiting on the Series X to come in, and then I'm going to try to see what it looks like on the Series X.
You should
Um,
do some little recording before and after, you know?
I mean, I'm going to. I've got a bunch of gameplay already from the Xbox One X version. I'm gonna do a Series X comparison with it once we get the Series X here in the house, and then we have Assassin's Creed coming up next week as well.
Yeah.
Call of Duty comes out, I think, next week, either next week or the week after.
I think it's the week after, if I remember right.
So we got Call of Duty there, and then Cyberpunk comes out in December. Um,
Yep.
so I'm looking forward to getting my hands on that and seeing what it looks like on the Series X.
If there's one game I think that would set aside the new consoles to show them graphically compared to the others, I think it's going to be Cyberpunk.
I think it's going to too, and I mean, and I'll have both of them here, and I'm gonna run it. I'm gonna run it on both just to kind of get a comparison on what they both look like on a 4K television, display and all that, just so I can kind of get a side by side of both. And yeah, I'm looking forward to Cyberpunk.
Yeah. But really, outside of that, we just don't, there's not a whole lot extra. There's already been lots of gameplay reveal of Demon Souls and comparison videos PS3 to the new versions. Other channels have already talked about the new features, what's different from the original to the new. And Demon Souls doesn't look like it's going to disappoint. The only thing to remember there, if you're not into the Souls games, if you're not into that really difficult challenge, just don't bother.
Yep.
Save your money. It's $70. It's a $70 game. Just save your money. Like
Well, I
that's
mean,
literally the only thing I'm picking up, and I'm only picking it up just for collector's value.
it's Demon Souls is one of those games that's gonna be for like a niche audience anyway, so it's not gonna be for
Yeah,
every PS5 owner that gets one.
just like Gears Tactic, it's a niche audience.
Yep.
The only difference, I think, the tactical gameplay is more niche compared to the Souls.
And it's on
I
Game
know
Pass, so if you have a Game Pass already, it's already on there. You don't have to pay for it.
exactly. And to be, I wouldn't be surprised if there were meant to be more games at launch. It's just I probably Corona, the epidemic, probably slowed everything
I
down.
think so too. I think a lot of the developers know that. I think Microsoft and Sony both knew that too. It's like, okay, well, look, we know we're not going to have a whole lot, at the end of this year because of COVID-19 and having to slow down
Yeah,
production on a lot of things, and they knew that was going to throw a wrench in a lot of their launch window stuff, which is understandable. It's just something that that comes along with the
it's life.
pandemic that we're in. So,
Yeah, to be blunt, it's life. Sometimes it sucks, but you got to get through it.
yep.
Um,
So, yeah, I mean,
but
that's
yeah,
good.
my personal plan is just to wait till after the New Year's. Until then, I'm one of the things that we'll be doing in a future video after the New Year's. I'm building a new gaming computer so I can get rid of this wonderful hazy video. So we're going to be doing a little focus on that. I know there's a lot of people who are console gamers who have an interest in PC gaming. And a good friend of mine who is a big PC gamer. He's actually going to help me build a nice VR capable gaming PC. Not a super crazy thing, but I will be able to play a lot of the games that just would not be available to me otherwise on a console.
And hopefully, I'll be able to build a PC or just buy a PC here soon that I can even play a PC game with you guys
Okay.
online. So,
You should buy a pre-built. That way we can do like an apple to apple comparison.
well, I might end up doing that. I mean, let me get some of these new consoles out of the way because I need to get multiple ones for us and then the game truck as well.
For
So,
for the game truck. So, um, but yeah, so that's what I'm going for. That's just my general focus right now. Outside of that, we do have the holiday shopping season approaching. which is going to be our next episode's topic. I won't say next week. I think we're doing it later this week, aren't we? That episode
I think we're gonna try to, yeah, because
next week or this week?
yeah, it's
Yeah.
either it's gonna be like within the week or something like that. So yeah, we'll tackle that then. We're gonna do like a holiday shopping breakdown. You know what's coming, what to
Yes.
look for.
You got a gamer friend, a gamer in your life. You don't want to buy them a $70 game, but you want to get them something cool? Guess what? We're going to show you some cool ideas. We're going to show you how to figure out what in the beat to get them.
Yep, and I'm sure a lot of y'all are gonna like that. So yeah, so on our next episode, that's what we're gonna tackle. We're gonna tackle some holiday shopping, since Black Friday will be right around the corner from that episode. So be on the
Yes.
lookout. We're gonna tackle the holiday shopping, what to look for, what to get that gamer in your household, especially the gamer in your household that tends to get him or herself this stuff
Everything
anyway.
they want. Yes.
Yeah, so
That's always the problem for my family and with us as friends is if there's something we know the other one wants, 9 times out of 100 or 9 out of 10 times, you've already bought it for yourself.
yep.
So, like, that's always kind of the tricky part, and that's the approach we're going to take, I think, with this one.
Yep. Well, that will work for me. So again, thank you guys so much for watching. We hope you guys have enjoyed yourself. We hope you guys are staying safe through this election process and the pandemic that we're currently in. You guys take care. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Stay
Yes.
updated on when we put out new episodes and when we got new streams coming up. So make sure you follow us here on Twitch. We are also on YouTube at the Game Night Lounge as well, so make sure you follow us there. We're also on Facebook, Twitter, pretty much all the social media accounts that you can think of. We have
Yes.
some sort of a presence.
I will be streaming. Today is Thursday, right?
Friday.
I'm getting old. Oh, Friday. See, I'm just getting so old. The days blend together now. So Saturday night, I will be streaming the new Ace Combat 7 download, the anniversary pack. They've released some of their fan favorite, um, I guess you would say universe only aircraft. Aircraft designed only for the Ace Combat series that aren't real ones. And I'm going to be using the 3 of those and their new download missions. So that would be the Shinden 2, the Nosferatu, and I believe it's the Morgan. So if you're if you like dogfighting, jets and stuff, and some cool high speed, I will be doing that on the Xbox Series X, or not Series X, but Xbox One X, excuse me, with the new expansion for the game.
Yeah, and I'll be doing some more Watchdog Legions. I'll be doing Mortal Shells and finishing up Gears of War 2. Hoping to tackle at least a couple of them tonight. Tomorrow I will not be available at all, so I'll be gone all day tomorrow. And Sunday until Sunday afternoon I'll be gone, but Sunday night I'll be back. And I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna tackle on probably maybe the new battle, the new season of Apex Legends Sunday night, and then we'll go in from there because then we got like Assassin's Creed and all that next week as well as the next gen consoles that we'll be kind of tackling. So that's what my plan is.
You should you should really join me at some World of Tanks one night.
Well, yeah. But thank you guys so much for watching. We hope you guys have enjoyed it. Until next week, everybody, thank you guys so much and take care.
Peace.